comes down to numbers. If the Christians show up in force, we can win. Now, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm not going to do that. But I want you to vote for candidates who stand for biblical truth, biblical principles, that are willing to live them. This may be tough. You know, we think a lot about the national election. There's a lot of other elections out there that are so important. Some ask me the question, Franklin, what would your father have done? I get that a lot. But here's something my father said in 1952. He said, I think it's the duty of every individual Christian at election time to study the issues and candidates and then go to the polls and vote. He said, if I were a pastor, listen up, church. He said, if I were a pastor of a church, I believe that I would explain to my people where each candidate stood morally, spiritually, and in relationship to the church. He said, I feel that we're going to have to meet our political obligations as Christians and make our voice known if America is to be preserved with the type of Christian heritage which has given us the liberties that we now enjoy. For unless, he said, unless America turns back to God, repents of its sin, and experiences a spiritual revival, we will fail as a nation. He said, I believe God honors leaders in high places who honor Him. We need today political leaders, men and women in high places who are willing to stand for God and His principles. America is being stripped of its biblical heritage and God-inspired foundations. Growing up, we were afraid of the red threat. My generation, we were afraid that the communists were coming. Remember that? We were ready for nuclear war. I went to a little country school, and it was a designated civil defense shelter. It had a sign on it. It was brick. It had rations, crackers that would last 40 years. Rats wouldn't even eat those crackers. And when the Berlin Wall came down, everybody sighed a sigh of relief. Ah, well, we won that one, didn't we? When communism faded and went off to the horizon, and we began to relax, secularism came in to Washington. Now, secularism and communism are one and the same. They're both godless. Both are godless systems. And secularism just didn't come in overnight, but over the last 40 years, it has infected the political decisions that are made in Washington. It has taken over politics. It has come into our state capitals. It has come into our local school districts. It's come into our city mayors, city council, all of this, secularism, and we have taken God out of the public square. And we have lawyers out there that if you pray in the name of Jesus, they threaten to sue you. And so what happens, people just back up. Well, I want to be nice. I want to be accepted. I don't want to get sued. This is a hassle. Who needs this? You know, we'll just let somebody else take a stand. Let me tell you something. If we don't all take a stand, we lose.